What's shaking? It's bacon, and as the days pass, we're getting closer and closer to the Taken King DLC. And like many of you, I find expansions to be very exciting. The time leading up to expansions is extremely exciting. But something has gotten me thinking. Now, what are expansions meant to do? What do they do for the game, basically? They're meant to expand the game. Basically, an addition to the content that we already have, and it's able to be sold to us. So, looking at all the expansions, I'm seeing, does it really add to the game? I'd say it adds to the game momentarily, because the Dark Below, the content that was in that expansion, the additions that came in that expansion, if anything, were subtracted after they were added in the House of Wolves and in the Taken King that is to come. And this isn't really good to me. I don't like the fact that expansions kill each other off, and that's what it seems to be. So if anything, I don't think we killed Crota. I believe his father Oryx killed him, or is going to kill him. And I'll explain it. Because look at all the weapons, the legendary weapons, the raid weapons, the raid gear, the legendary gear that we were able to acquire in the Dark Below. And think about that now and what they plan to do with those. They're pushing them aside. They're not going anywhere. I talk about this a lot just because it does affect me, but I'm trying to think of different ways it works into the game. So those raid weapons and things that we've worked for or whatever are not gonna be of any use. To try to get them later on is why? It's not gonna benefit you in any way. It's just going to hinder you, if anything, especially that gear. And also, the only thing that is in the raid that would be of any use is the ability to create and craft Necrochasm, which is very underrated right now because it's not of any use, but in the Taken King it looks to be far more useful. But for that to be the only takeaway from that DLC is pretty sad. Now you can get these old Dark Below weapons and gear from playing the old Strike playlist that came out around that time. I think it was the Rock playlist or something. But it is definitely not worth it at all. Why? Because the grind to get those things is way worse than getting any exotic. Because you have to play through it, and then at the final screen, after beating it, you have a possibility of seeing a legendary engram come up, and that possibility is slim within itself. But then which engram you're getting for which type of weapon, and then to open it, and it may not have the weapon you want, and if it does have the weapon you want, it may have the worst rolls ever and you cannot re-roll it. So it is just terrible to even try to get something you want from those strikes. There's no point in doing it at all. So now that we've concluded that the raid and the weapons and armors have lost value, what are we left with? We have 3 story missions, which in comparison to the Taken King's new format of story missions is a damn joke. We have the 1 strike that it came with, 2 if you include the one that was exclusive to PlayStation for a bit that Xbox players are going to be allowed to play in September. And then all we have left are 3 Crucible maps, which have been made free. You do not have to buy the Dark Below to be able to use and play these Crucible maps. Oh my dear, oh me, oh my. The Dark Below is nothing. It has been eradicated by the preceding DLCs to come. The House of Wolves, and now the Taken King. And it seems like Bungie is still trying to sell it with their new deal by putting it in with the Taken King DLC, the original game, and the House of Wolves. They make it look a lot more appealing, but it doesn't do anything. it has absolutely no use unless you want Necrochasm. And that's pretty much it. That's all it's going to offer you. But hell, my problem isn't with that at all. I don't really care about that bundle. I like the fact that people will buy it and play Destiny. I'd rather it have a broader audience and gather more people to enjoy it. But my problem is that these are called expansions. I think this is just them dipping their toes in the MMO scene without actually taking the plunge. They call it an expansion because it makes you think, oh crap, this is large scale. This is just like an MMO. When they could easily just call this a DLC pack. It seems like it's just a DLC pack because so much of it is just killed off. And it was killed off by the second expansion. So for the Taken King, my wish, my greatest wish, is for the content to last. I do not want it all to just be thrown away with the new expansion. You see what you're doing with light levels. You're throwing that away. Things that we've been working towards forever. You're making it so that we just level up to 40. Keep it that way. Expand on it by making us level within ourselves. But do not bring back light levels. Now that you've taken the leap with this new leveling system, keep it consistent. Whatever content that you're adding in the Taken King needs to be kept. We need it to retain its value. I don't want it to be added now, then subtracted, and something else is added in its place. Because when you think about it, where the hell are we going with that? Okay, you take the Dark Below, it's an addition to Destiny. You subtract the entirety of it, place in the House of Wolves. Okay, and then you erase the House of Wolves now, I guess, and place in the Taken King. So where are we? We are vanilla Destiny with one DLC. It'll never feel as though we have multiple. It's just, okay, a little bit more strikes, a little bit more Crucible maps, and there you go. And I think if they're gonna call it an expansion, we deserve more. And I do want to talk about the House of Wolves as well, but not in this video because I don't want it to get too long. I want to talk about the future of the events that they've set up in the House of Wolves, because we have not yet gotten any confirmation of what they plan to do with, say, the Prison of Elders or the Trials of Osiris. It's been left to speculation, and I want to drop my speculation hat in it. Unless they decide, okay, let's talk about it right before Bacon Bird makes a video about it. You know, if they want to do that, then let them do that. I'd be happy, I guess. Thank you for watching the video. Leave me your thoughts on this whole thing. Do you think that our expansions should really reflect the name and really be an expansion and not a momentary addition? I'll see you in the comment section. I hope you like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will catch you in the next one.